the kickoff, claimed by Cowan. Almost a hospital pass to Kano, but he brushes past Aaron Carpenter and sets it. And now Cowan is going to kick. And drifting towards the touchline.
Well, the number 6 for New Zealand has had a terrific season, really. Some of his work is often overshadowed, but once again you see there the strength of Jerome Kano in a situation which was a bit awkward.
Canada have gone short here. 5 men in.
Reardon to throw. And nicely done by the All Blacks. Tap back. So Cowan from the turnover ball. Vito can't quite escape from the tackle of Ryan Smith. Cowan goes wide this time. Kano in a bit of space. Good charge by the big number 6, almost to the halfway line. Looking for quick recycle. Cowan away for Slade. Now Sonny Bill Williams to Smith. Muliaina. Guildford to chase onto it. Slightly overweighted the kick though. And it's cleared away, but it's not out. It's fielded by Dag, Israel Dag, who's come from the right wing. And he sends it wide for Reid. Kieran Reid. Misunderstanding, but tidied up by Kano, who's got through a power of work already, Jerome Kano. Hoare plays halfback. The Canadians are a mile offside. And back they come.
They want to finish it anyway. These All Blacks who haven't heard the whistle either.
Well, there's 2 little games here.
They're still playing on. Oh, now we've realised it.
Such a din in the stadium that they didn't hear the whistle.
This wasn't even close to being onside. Jerome Kano, who's carried strongly on about 3 or 4 occasions now. Pushing people off.
Decision, captain. Shot. Shot.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. That's about the worst offside I've seen in the tournament so far, I think.
Well, it's just a reflection, isn't it, of the pressure that Canada are under defensively. They have to look at making spot tackles and disrupt the flow of the All Blacks, but that was carrying it just 5 or 6 yards too far. So another kick, and each one of these becomes, Grant Fox, very important for Colin Slade. Not so much for the scoreboard today, but for later on. Just
for confidence. And look, unfortunately, he's got one of the more difficult stadiums in the country to kick in when there's a bit of wind about, because not that it necessarily favours you at this level, i.e. at ground level, but because it swirls. Wind straight up or straight down or across is not so bad. Swirling winds are difficult to deal with.
Well, standing right behind them is the All Black kicking coach, Mick Byrne, who was with Japan earlier, and he'll be happy enough with that as the penalty is landed. 15 points to 3.
Just interesting, before when the All Blacks ran it out, that Guildford called for Muliaina to put the ball on the ground, and I think the All Blacks are going to be better off if they carry the ball deep, commit defenders, look to change angles rather than put the ball on the ground behind the defence too often.
So the kickoff is made once again, and this time it's Whitelock who receives it. Cowan to Slade. Here's Vito again. Slade gets it back. Bounces it for Smith, and Conrad Smith has to set it a couple of metres out from the 22 there. Cowan for Slade. That's not a great pass, and no wonder it was knocked on. That was Ali Williams. So an opportunity here for Canada as the ball comes loose.
Come back forward. Scrum.
Well, it was a sloppy pass.
Colin Slade's putting his hand up, apologising. Just some of the work around those loops, it's not sharp enough in my view. He just slipped out of his hand there. You saw him look down straight away. Just that wraparound stuff in the middle, and just those transfers, there needs to be a little bit more sharpness about it. They're just a little bit easy to read from a defensive point of view. A good attacking option here for Canada, but the key will be whether they can deliver a solid enough platform at scrum time.
Touch. Pause. Engage!
Fairhurst. Now here's Carpenter off the back. Oh, good run by Aaron Carpenter. And now the Canadians with Hubert Bidens, who just loves to run with the ball, the big prop forward. Now they go wide for Munro. Slots it through, but he's weighted it too heavily. And that's easily defended.
Yeah, easily read by Israel Dagg, and all a little bit predictable, really. Very obvious from Munro that the ball was going on the ground and behind.
If you don't move, it can't get you. If you don't move, it can't get you.
So Colin Slade at 15 points to 3. And that holds up nicely again. And controlled by the skipper. Back for Cowan, and Jimmy Cowan just waiting for the referee to blow for the scrum.
Red knock on, scrum black.
So Jimmy Cowan really not keen to play that when I think he had an opportunity. He was quite happy to take the scrum. And so the All Black platform so far really solid in this phase of the game. There's the territory. Canada have lots of it, but possession in favour of the All Blacks, and it doesn't matter where they are on the field at the moment. The All Blacks are looking to attack ball in hand, and look for them to do that again right here.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
Reid channels it away. Now Cowan. Slade driving it in behind left winger Phil McKenzie, all the way back to Matt Evans, who is a winger as well, Evans. And his clearance is not out. So the All Blacks will launch from inside their own half as Cowan has a go. Now off it goes to Slade. Inside pass to Guildford. Well covered. Good tackle on him by Kleberger. Now Cowan getting there. Ball available for Smith. Hands it off to Guildford, who stayed in close. He's got a high work rate, Zach Guildford. Smith again. Now Slade for Sonny Bill Williams. Here's a Muliaina. Reid. Ridden down on a good tackle by Ryan Smith. Cleared away by Franks. All Blacks moving it left to right. Vito. There's Dagg. Guildford. Guildford with pace. Dagg is there. And the two Hawke's Bay boys combine for Israel Dagg to score.
Just too much advantage line stuff for the All Blacks. Ball too quick and too much width with the attack. Canada cannot handle him at the moment. It was Zach Guildford who featured in that movement 3 times, carrying the ball all off his left wing on the right-hand side of the park. And here it is, Guildford brilliantly drew in Phil McKenzie and gave it to Israel Dagg to finish off.
Yeah, Van der Merwe involved in the tackle as well, and perhaps McKenzie is the villain here from Canada's point of view. It looked like Van der Merwe may well have had Guildford covered down low. Just there, I think he had him, and he just left Israel Dagg with way too much space for a finisher of that class. So yeah, side-to-side stuff from the All Blacks, but it's not lateral stuff. There's some very direct running. Kieran Reid on the left, Guildford on the right, and the 5-pointer, which they could well get an extra 2 for, but a difficult kick again for Colin Slade.
Can't bring it back in time.
You saw that from the conversion he missed before, where it was left. That time he aimed further right. The ball did come around, but not far enough. So here it is. Dagg gave it to him, then looped him. And you're right, Ian Smith. McKenzie did not need to come in.
Munro again. Whitelock goes chasing after it. And back it comes again for Jimmy Cowan. 21 minutes gone. Slade again off to Vito. Another strong run by Victor Vito. Cowan clears off to Conrad Smith. Chasing after, this is Munro. And none of the All Blacks really chasing up on this. Plenty of time for Matt Evans. And that's a clever little kick if he gets the bounce, but instead it goes to Dagg. who put it on the ground, he thought.
You release forward, it's a knock-on.
Although it was propelled forward, according to Monsieur Poit.
Israel Dag doesn't agree, but not a good chasing line in the middle there from the odds. We just look in a bit closer. Yeah, I think that decision's right. No problem with that. Clearly went forward. Not how Dag sees it. But the chasing line in the middle wasn't good. I know the attack came up the left flank from the All Blacks, but got to fill that defensive chasing line across the park, and the All Blacks didn't do it very well on that occasion.
Touch! Pause! Engage!
Fairhurst again gets it in very, very quickly. Now Munro turns it back to Van der Merwe. He ready as the go-to man in this Canadian backline. Big and powerful. Fairhurst for Munro. In fact, it's O'Toole, Chauncey O'Toole, crunching tackle made on him. It's there again, though, Kleberger. This time it's Ryan Smith. Fairhurst gets it back. Reid did that pretty well, but now the Canadians have got it away wide, and that's a good bust from a number 8 Carpenter into All Black territory. There you go. So Fairhurst away from Munro. Plenty of backs here. This is McKenzie in from the left wing. Scored a super try against the Japanese. Now Smith off to his fullback Evans. Fairhurst taken up by Bidens. All Blacks looking to turn it over, and they surely have. Cowan makes the kick. Now Guildford's got plenty of pace. Cowan as well. And it has to be taken back. Guildford's going to score. The value of following up, and Zach Guildford gets his second.
Oh, Andrew Hall started this with a turnover. We know it's a very strong part of his game, but he was the one that seized it at the breakdown. And it went to Conrad Smith and Cowan, who sensed the defensive line was very flat, and he just kicked it in behind. And watch Guildford here. This is a very strong part of his game, the chase. And yeah, a very Connor Trainer didn't do very well at all, but the beauty of the chase.
Poor defence, actually, he should have done a good deal better. But if we go back and have a look at how much of a head start he got on Zach Guildford, there is no substitute for real speed, particularly out wide. And Zach Guildford gave Connor Trainer a 20-metre head start, as well as everyone else in the race. And in the end, because of his persistence and that extra gas, he profited.
Well, he's got a couple of tries, Zach Guildford, so he's doubled his tally in Test rugby in the space of 25 minutes. And that one stays away. So 2 tries to Zach Guildford of the 4 scored by the All Blacks so far. 25 points to 3.
Yeah, Guildford will chase kicks all day. He is a persistent sort of character. He builds a lot of his game around that sort of thing.
Now he's back in the action here, and Canada have caught the All Blacks napping a wee bit.
Accidental offside.
And there was a knock-on in the end. Unorthodox kick. We've seen 1 or 2 of these little ploys from the Canadians, including the long throw.
12 black.
Now, Guildford attacked the ball a bit hard there. He needed to be a bit more patient coming forward. Boy, you're going to struggle to catch the ball when you don't bend at your knees going forward at that rate of knots.
Crutch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Wait, plenty of it. And it's a tight head in the old terms. There's Guildford on the left wing side again, fed by Reid, trying to get into the touchline. Fed away by Cowan into midfield. A loose pass from Williams. That's Ali Williams. Now snapped up by McKenzie. Here's big lock forward Jeb Sinclair. Thunder Merva got it back too. Did really well to keep it in. Now's the captain, Pat Reardon. They would just love to get a try against the All Blacks. Fairhurst swings it wide to Marshall. Now Cudmore goes to ground right out in front of the goalposts.